In this video, we're going to basically tell you how you can compete on price with the big guys.
But first, here's a message from our sponsors.
So, does price really matter? Every customer wants to feel like they're getting good value, and price is a big part of that. In many cases though, it is not the most important thing, but it does play a big part of it. Much does depend though on the added value you give to the item you're selling. So in reality, is it your value or your price that matters? You may think, well, if it's cheaper, it's a better value. Well, value is not down to how cheap something is, it's how much you're actually getting in return. For example, one item may cost you, let's just say, £100, and the same item in another shop might be £120. But in the shop what sells it for £100, you actually need to buy, let's say, something else what works with it. Let's just say it was a second-hand computer and you needed security. Well, that security is going to cost you another £30 to £40. So instead of spending £100, you've actually spent £130 to £40. But in the second shop, where the price is £120 for the item, they include the security in the price. So actually the second shop, which is actually more expensive for the item, is actually better value because you're actually getting more for your money.
Please support this channel by liking, subscribing, hitting that bell icon and even commenting. The more comments, subs and so forth we get, the more content we can release.
So let's have a look at your pricing advantages and disadvantages against the bigger guys like the chain stores and the big department stores. So the big guys, they do have lots of advantages, there's no question about it. They have more buying power, so they can buy items in bulk, so they can buy lots of items, and because they're buying them in bulk, they can get them a lot cheaper. And obviously, if they get them cheaper, they can potentially sell them for a lot less. And in some cases, they will buy these items actually at the same price you do, but they'll have a lot of rebates and offers and so forth, so they get to claim the money back from the manufacturers. You'll also find distributors and vendors will also offer them special offers where if they buy 100 or 100,000 of this units, they will get it for significantly less than the normal price. This is usually down to either the manufacturers wanting to clear the items out because they're bringing new items in stock, or probably it's just a bad selling item they just want to get rid of. Or it could be that just the manufacturer has to hit a certain quota for that month and they want to get rid of it so they can make their profits look better. They also have loss leaders. So in some cases they'll actually be selling an item just to get you in the store, and they'll sell it for a lot less than they actually bought it for because they know you'll more than likely buy other things while you're there and they'll actually make a profit on it. For example, in the case of computers and laptops, if they were selling a laptop, they probably bought a laptop in for say £400 and would normally sell it for say £600. They probably got it on offer for £350, which is a lot cheaper than they actually bought it for, so they're making a loss. But what they'll do is then sell a combination of things like a laptop bag, security, Microsoft Office and various different things, and memory cards and stuff like that, and backup and all this, that and the other, and that price will jump the price of the total things they're buying up by about another £200 to £300, and they're actually making the profit off of that. And then in some cases, if it's an ongoing thing like a maintenance package, insurance and so forth, they'll actually be making a yearly income off them as you pay by direct debit every year. So you're doomed, right? How can you compete against someone who can actually sell things for less than they buy it for, especially when they're probably getting it in for less than you are anyway? Well, maybe not. They have a standard margin requirement usually. Their costs of running their store and doing all the other things is a lot higher than yours. They've got the overheads of multiple staff, as well as other things like the heating, electrics, and the rent of these huge stores. You can also make instant decisions straight away, where you can suddenly knock a price off a product or promote certain things which the big stores can't do. They have to go through meetings and get basically agreements from headquarters and all this, that and the other. So you are more flexible, so you can actually do things they cannot, or things that takes them weeks or even months to do. You can do it just like that. And obviously you can make offers then and there, so you can say, right, if customers are umming and ahhing, can I buy this, that and the other, you can say, well, I'll tell you what, I can chuck you that in with it to make the deal more. And it might be something you know that costs you actually very little, and you'll actually be making the money up from the main sale. The big guys cannot do that. They have to get approval, again, from headquarters or the store manager, which may take sometimes days, weeks and months. So let's assume that the small stores like yourselves are on a level playing field with the big guys, because obviously the big guys are not as flexible as you, but they do have that buying power. So here's a few things you can actually do. Promote a better product. If the big chain store is basically doing an offer on something really cheap that you can't even get anywhere near the price, don't try and offer the same thing at the same price. Try and find a better model or better item which is a little bit more expensive, and do an offer on that instead. Promote it on the benefits that it will give to the customer rather than it just being cheap. Everyone knows that better items do cost more, so you need to tell the customer why it costs more and show them these benefits. So let's say it is a laptop. This laptop, okay, yes, it is £100 more expensive than the one being sold in the big store shop, but this laptop is 500% faster. Okay, maybe a bit of an exaggeration there, but let's say 50% faster. It's got twice as much storage in it, so you're not going to run out of storage and then have to pay another XYZ in a few years' time to add more storage to it, and the battery lasts you longer, and so forth. Another thing that big stores actually struggle with is basically identifying what the customer actually needs, because in a lot of the times in the big stores the staff in there are either untrained at what they do or they have very little training, so they don't actually know what the customer actually need. So what you need to do is talk to the customer and make sure you know what they want, because sometimes what the customer thinks they want is not actually what they need. So make sure you talk to the customer and maybe you can show them something better for what they need. For example, they may not need that really expensive laptop. They might find that a desktop computer may be better for them because it does everything they want. They don't need portability, they just need pure performance, speed or whatever, or something that can sit at a desk because they've got bad eyesight, they need a bigger screen and so forth. You're the expert, so advise these people on what you think may be better for them, rather than just going, yes sir, give me your money, and then giving them the product back. Bundling items. So let's say you own a bakery or whatever, and the guys down the road sell the same thing. Let's just say it's a sausage roll for cheaper than you do. You could do a bundle, so if someone bought 3, they would actually save money compared to if they went to the other store and bought 3 individuals. So they're actually saving money in that way, so you're bundling items together. But in other terms, if you're buying a laptop again or a computer, you could bundle in security. It may be a very low cost for you, but the customer may think obviously the value is a lot higher and think they're getting something for nothing. So bundling these things initially will actually help you in with a sale. And even better is bundling a ongoing service, which obviously this won't work for every type of store, but if you're in an electronic side of things or something where you can bundle extras which you can bill for every year, even better. Again, for example, security, you can bill the customer every year, so that means you've got an income coming in every year. Or online backup services, maintenance contracts, extra insurance or whatever. All this is extra money you've got coming in on a yearly basis, so you don't have to actually go to the customer or wait for the customer to come to you, and maybe they won't even come to you. You can just automatically bill them, they pay direct debit or however, and that money will come to you. And if you are wanting some sort of service where you can get an income coming in automatically and you're wary about setting up direct debits, there's a good service we actually use in our retail store called Go Cardless. So that's gocardless.com. And that service is absolutely brilliant because you put the customer's details in, you set how much you want, when the billing date is, they get charged that amount of money on these specific dates, and within 2 to 3 days afterwards that money is in your bank account. Obviously emphasize your competitive products. When someone comes in and you know you've got an item on your shelf which is more expensive than the store down the road, don't go and show them that product, because they may have been to the store and gone, that other store before, and gone, oh, actually that's cheaper down there, why should I buy this from them? I'll just go down the road and buy it. Basically show them something you know the shop down the road doesn't have, or you know it's more expensive. So show off what you know you're going to be basically better selling because you have got no competition against it. Choose your battles. If you know the big store down the road is going to be selling an item for a specific price which is less than you can get it in, don't buy that item in. They're probably selling it as a loss leader, so there's no way you're going to be able to buy it in and sell it at a profit, and then the chance that anyone's going to buy it from you is going to be slim because they'll see it at this store down the road a lot cheaper, and they'll think you're ripping them off even though you're charging the proper price for it. They think the proper price should be what the loss leader is selling it for down the road. So make sure you pick your battles. Don't sell the things that you know you can't compete on. Only sell things you know you can compete on. And sometimes doing that means you get different brands, different models, different makes and so forth. Don't compete on the same. So if the store down the road is selling Sony products and you know you cannot get Sony products for that price and sell them, sell something else like Panasonic. Don't be greedy. So basically you've got to make sure that you don't overcharge for an item. Let's just say it's something you just buy on and sell in a box. You don't need to make as much profit on that as on something you've custom built for them. Let's just say again in the computer world, if you were to build a custom built computer, you may put 100, 200, 300 pounds profit on that. Obviously it's taking you time to build it, get the bits together and everything like that, so it takes a lot of time. But if you're just selling an item out of a box like a laptop which you just bought in and you're basically just handing it over to the customer, you don't need to put the same amount of profit on it because you've done very little work. All you're doing is basically moving a box from in stock to the customer's hand and they give you the money for it. They're doing all the work. But obviously if you can sell extra services in there, obviously do so. Last of all, emphasize your value. So basically you need to find out why you're a better value at either specific products or as a whole than the store down the road, whether it being experience or the items you sell are better quality or it's a better brand or whatnot. You need to make a list basically of why you are better value, and that way when a customer comes in and says, why should I buy from you in comparison to the big store down the road which may potentially be cheaper, you can turn around and say, yeah, but these products are better because they come with longer warranties or you get bundled items or whatever. Basically you need to show them why you are better or why you're a better value. Recycling, where this may not be applicable to a lot of businesses, but in some businesses, especially if you're in electronics, you could offer a recycling service. So either A, you'll take the customer's old item free of charge, or you may even offer to buy it back off of them. But the advantages then is you could potentially refurbish that item and sell it on yourself and make even more profit. So you're making sort of two sales out of one. But obviously you need to basically make sure the customer knows they're getting a good value. So you want to say, well, yeah, actually to get rid of this normally we would charge X, Y, and Z, but for you, because you're having a new machine, we'll do it for free. Or actually because this machine has got some value to it, we'll knock you so much off of your new machine and so forth. So basically make them feel they're getting more for the money. So hopefully from all that you've understood the difference between value and price, and that price is not necessarily the main thing, it's value, and you need to show obviously why you give a better value. So whether it be bundles, whether it be stocking things that the competitors don't have, so you can't be compared, all the way down to adding in yearly subscriptions for things and stuff like that, where you can have income coming in all the time. So hopefully you understand price is not everything, it's the value you give with the items you actually sell.
Thanks for watching this video all the way to the end. Don't forget to press the subscribe button over here. That way you'll get all the latest news and all the reviews we do on a weekly basis. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.